All right, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, we're just gonna go over safety topic today is electrical safety. So some of you guys are gonna maybe kind of a review, but for others it's gonna be new. So basically, according to OSHA, a GFCI, for those of you who don't know what that is ground fault circuit interrupter. It's a fast-acting circuit breaker designed to shut off your electrical power in the event of a ground fault within as little as 1/40th of a second. The ground fault occurs as a result of leaking electricity. So you all seen those little buttons you can push and you can test or you can reset on the actual socket or outlet. That's what a GFCI is connected to, and typically a GFCI has several other outlets that are attached to that same GFCI. So sometimes if that pops, you'll be in another outlet and you plug it in and it won't work, right? And that's because it's attached to a GFCI. So then you gotta go searching for a GFCI because it won't go to the breaker. This is prior to the breaker. So this goes, the GFCI goes directly to the breaker. However, it's attached to other outlets. So the breaker is not going to pop necessarily because the GFCI does. So all you have to do a lot of times is just reset the GFCI and then you're going to have electrical power. So OSHA standard 1910.3333A states that safety-related work practices shall be employed to prevent electric shock or other injuries resulting from either direct or indirect electrical contacts when work is performed near or on equipment or circuits which are or may be energized. Specific safety-related work practices shall be consistent with the nature and extent of the associated electrical hazards. So from a small kitchen lobby in an office building to an industrial food plant, when using electrical equipment or extension cords near a water source, they should be plugged into an outlet that is GFCI protected. So you'll normally see a GFCI in a kitchen and in a bathroom. Those are typically where you're going to see the GFCI.
And garage too.
What's that?
And garage.
And in a garage, right? Where there's a laundry room or something like that, right? When operating machine pumps, welding equipment, or other high energy product or producing equipment or tools, an industrial GFCI should be used. Always test GFCIs before use by using the test and reset buttons. If found effective, do not use a GFCI. Inspect all tools and equipment before use. If ground pin is missing, do not use. So that's basically a GFCI. A lot of times, you'll see a black and a red. Sometimes it's the little buttons that you push there. That whole thing's in orange. I don't know why, but that's what a GFCI basically looks like, other than it's the color of it to me. I mean, I've seen them mainly white.
More?
So cord sets and receptacles. A lot of times you also have in a cord, you'll have a GFCI set. I know, like for a pressure washer, for an example, right? There's water, electricity in the same application. So mine has a GFCI built in the cord, so it'll pop if there's some type of problem. So like if you're spraying with my pressure washer and I get water towards where the cord is plugged in, the GFCI will pop, right? So cord sets and receptacles in wet environments can potentially expose employees to severe ground fault hazards. Therefore, in the built environment and non-construction, OSHA requires ground fault circuit protection for all 125 volt single phase 15 and 20 ampere receptacles installed in bathrooms and or on rooftops. Never take electricity for granted, no matter how small the job. Always use safe work practices, especially when using electrical tools and equipment. So, some of the things that we do that have to do with water and electricity. Tell me, guys, what do we do where we're working around water and we have to plug something in?
Make sure it's not wet.
No, what kind of jobs do we do?
Oh.
What kind of jobs do we do where there's water and electricity?
Anytime we do anything with water outside.
Okay, so when we're working on a water heater, okay, and especially if there's a pump involved, we're working with electricity and water.
Right.
So there should be a GFCI used if we're doing anything there. When we're working in a bathroom, or if there's a flood, or you know, when we're working and there's water in the ground, or laundry facilities, and we're dealing with things over hooking up washers and dryers and things like that. Anywhere where there's water and there's electricity, you should be using GFCI just to protect yourself. Some equipment has it automatically, but others don't. So, you know, when you're working outside, a lot of times, like I have outside plugs at my house, right?
They're supposed to be GFCI.
They're supposed to be GFCI.
Yeah.
And why? It can rain outside, we work outside with weather. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can
Sprinkler
happen.
systems.
Sprinkler systems, right.
Supposed to have covers on them.
Yep, and they have covers on them, and the reason they have covers on them is why? Because sprinklers, rain, whatever.
Kids with water balloons.
Yeah, that can happen too.
Squirt gun fights.
Squirt gun fights, swimming pools. So same thing with swimming pools. You know, you have a light, electricity in a swimming pool.
You
Right?
literally have a light bulb inside of it, yeah.
You actually have a light bulb inside of it, so it's hooked up to a GFCI. That's important because I don't know if you guys, my pool, whoever did my pool, they did not hook up a GFCI. My current house.
You must have got my
Really?
uncle or
Yeah.
something.
How it got past inspection, I have no idea. So that's something I've got to deal with. But the reason they didn't do it, there's no light. But does that matter? There's a pump, right?
It doesn't matter.
If there's electric and water, you have to have a GFCI. That's required. It's to protect you, protect anybody else. So when my pool is running, there's electricity pumping that out. I mean, and it's not that far from the water. And then I have a slide, so you know that just brings the water to another level, right? I mean, it's at in a different location now, so there's still water. The thing that what actually brings the water to the slide is just a valve. I'm just changing a valve, directional valve, but the pump has to be on, which means electricity has to be on when water's on the pool. So you have to have a GFCI. So a lot of people don't realize that, and then you know, I got a home inspection. That's how I knew. I didn't know if they had a GFCI or not. The guy comes out and says, "Well, you're missing a GFCI in your pool." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. That's just great." So they're not that hard to put in. Is that, you know, it's basically like the same as putting an outlet in, or you know, a socket for your regular plug-in. It's just that it has that safety feature in it, and there's usually another wire that's ran to it. So that's the only thing.
Pool, do you?
No, because the electricity is above ground. It's not at the pool, but that's what's causing, you know, the water to be pulled through the pipes. But it still should have it, because right next to where there's wires coming right next to where the water's coming through the pumps and everything else. So if there were there's also a filter, right? And when your filter has to, if you do something with your pool, oftentimes you have to, if you clean a filter or whatever, you have to bleed. There's a little valve you have to bleed, and that valve throws out water right over the electrical part. So I mean, it's like rain would go over to the electrical part where there's a timer and everything else, and it's pretty much, it's in a box, so you have to open it to turn it on. So there's very easily a chance of water and electricity coming together. And if it's wet outside and you're standing in water and that happens, and you're turning something on where there's wires coming in for a timer, and and then there's water being sprayed at you, it's very easily, instead of just popping off, what the GFCI will do, you're gonna get electrocuted, right? So, not the smartest thing to not have, when there's water. So, just always remember that, GFCIs are important. Alright, okay, so guys, I wanted to just kind of tell you today, though pretty much this week for a lot of us, we got a pretty busy day, and a pretty busy week. So as I get into the service titan here, okay. So plumbing is busy in addition to HVAC, so you can see the board, everyone's busy. And a couple of these jobs are going through not just today, so you'll start seeing tomorrow and the next days, I mean, we're gonna be, as they get rescheduled, because some of these jobs are pretty long. Okay, so we got stuff going on, so everyone's got, a lot of work to do. Trucks, making sure they're clean is really, really important, guys. I need to, I wanna take a look at, the truck, right now, we haven't had everyone assigned to a specific truck, but I need to start looking at these trucks and see how we're keeping them. We need to get out, get going here pretty quick this morning, so let's go ahead and get ourselves ready and head out and start making some money. All right?
Hell, yeah.
All right.